you've got your hands in Diana Ross, David Bowie, Madonna Like a Virgin, Duran Duran, Daft Punk, right? All these different eras. You've been making music for over 50 years. If you were given a time machine right now and you could write another, you know for a fact, it's going to be a #1 hit, where do you want to drop it? What year?
I would say I'd want to drop it now. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because the current scene, I have to say, I don't understand. Yeah. So when I was younger and there was vinyl and record stores and the radio station and this and that, there was a path to success that we all sort of followed. Now, that doesn't mean that you were successful. It just meant that that was the path that you followed. The current path, I don't understand, even though I'm working with 20-year-olds, even though I'm working with so many young people, that they have, how do I say it? They have a different responsibility to their audience. Like when I made a record back in the day, I knew that the only thing I had to do was the word I use, and this is probably a very inappropriate word, but was seduce the next person on the food chain. So all I had to do was make sure that the promotion person really liked the record. And all I needed was for that person to want to hear it twice. I play the song and they say, "Can I hear that again?" I go, "Yes." And then they take it to the next person. They go, "Can I hear that record again?" I go, "Yes." So that was our concept. If you played our record twice, we felt like we were on the way to success. Now, a person can play a record whenever they want. I don't even know if they feel compelled to have to listen to the whole thing. I don't know any of that stuff. So I just make records with people because I love them. I meet them and we vibe. But then I don't know what they do after they leave.
Yeah, the music today, it's hard to quantify and it's not as tangible because there's so much private listening and, you know, sharing amongst friends, and the numbers can be confusing. Whereas there is a number, sir, that is not confusing. Your song with Chic Le Freak. Freak Out. You hold this epic title. I think it's the biggest selling record in Atlantic Records history.
It is indeed. And it always has been since it came out, save for a very short period of time when Flo Rida, he passed us. And because of streaming, we were able to then pass him.
Again, you're like, I don't think so.
Maybe a year later or something like that. I don't know the exact timing, but all of a sudden it went back to Le Freak being bigger.
Well, that song gets stuck in my head. I'll hear it once and it gets stuck in my head. Do you have that same problem? Do you walk around sometimes singing your own songs because they get stuck in your head because they are so catchy?
You know, it's funny. I actually wind up singing other people's songs more than mine, because mine I know. It's funny. The other day, I'm trying to think. Now I'm having a senior moment, but I was laughing my head off because I was singing a song and I'm walking through the airport. Why the hell am I singing this song? And it was something that if you look at my history and you look at my vibe, if you will, it was the total antithesis of what you think Nile would be walking around singing. You think I'd be singing some super soulful or some funk song or some disco song, and here I'm walking around singing something like, I don't even know what it was. But
Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Or I Kissed a Girl or something.
Yeah, right. So good, so good. Oh my goodness. All right, so with so many hits under your belt, and being having a guitar like the Hitmaker, what was it like when Fender knocked on your door, or was it vice versa? Did you knock on their door and say, let's make this baby and make it accessible to everyone?
They knocked on my door. So first I knocked on their door because I just wanted another guitar, because I was terrified that one day my guitar was gonna come up missing or something was gonna happen to it,
right,
and I wouldn't be able to repair it. and it would be gone. Like now I have to get used to something else. So I went to the custom shop and I said, make another one. And you know what? They made a great guitar, but it wasn't the Hitmaker, but it was great. So I remember playing it one night and said, Jesus Christ, this guitar sounds good. But then my friend walked in and said, that's not the Hitmaker though. And I said, what do you mean? He said, listen to the sound. And I was like, oh yeah, right. So I was just enthralled with the sound, but I wasn't comparing it to the Hitmaker. I was just, so as terrific as it was, the only time you hear me playing that was I did American Idol, and Keith Urban was the guest, or the host or whatever at that time. He's one of the 4 hosts. I never really watched American Idol, and I remember Keith Urban watching me play this Hitmaker that I borrowed, and he was like, "Wow, that sounds cool," but he didn't know what the real Hitmaker sounds like. And next thing I know, I wound up being Keith Urban's best friend, and we did a bunch of records together, and we gigged together. But when I wound up making records with him, he was like, "Oh, I hear the difference now."